What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only Q here from Retro Q Gaming, and it is just getting worse and worse and worse in what I feared. Now, I've always been against sponsorships for games, from companies sponsoring games and injecting their own technology, or specifically doing it to lock out others' technology. There's big reasons for that and all as well. And we've seen it over the years with many different features, many different games, many different graphics cards, etc, etc, etc. And even more recently, over the last couple of months, ever since AMD have finally launched some GPUs that, well, if you can justify the results as capable of ray tracing, well, it's gotten a bit worse, and we've seen situations where companies have seemed to sponsor games to lock out the other company's hardware from ray tracing, or to potentially develop it down the line and factor in those hardware cards down the line. Some of the notable examples, so far at least anyway, have been Cyberpunk 2077, where ray tracing was only properly available on Nvidia cards, Godfall, where it was partnered with AMD and only properly available on their cards. That may have changed since they did say it was coming post-launch, but you get the idea. Now, with the brand new announcement just today of AMD's new Radeon RX 6700 XT, their new entry-level card, we've now seen a new announcement of a new partnership with a new upcoming game. So as the tweet from AMD reads, we've partnered with Capcom to utilize ray tracing and AMD Fidelity FX to enhance the atmosphere and next generation visuals in Resident Evil Village. We can't wait to play Resident Evil Village on May 7th. So if you've seen the whole situation, the whole demo and all as well, the demo that came out on PS5 was essentially a tech demo. There wasn't much gameplay in it, but it was more so showing off the tech, the lighting, the textures, the quality, the shadows, and the ray tracing. And it looked like it had potential. It seemed to be fairly low quality because PlayStation 5 and AMD GPUs, but you get the idea. So naturally, many people, myself included, were looking to use real GPUs to properly ray trace at higher quality. But now it seems that we have got down to a point where a company cannot make a viable GPU with next generation features, so instead they start throwing money at companies to partner with them to lock out other companies from putting in their features. This was very notable with Borderlands 3 when AMD partnered with Gearbox for Borderlands 3 and put none of their own quality and features in there because they don't have any, or at least they didn't at the time because there was no ray tracing. Or at least no ray tracing capable AMD GPUs. And of course, this was done specifically to lock out Nvidia because of Borderlands 2, which was still, to this day, one of their high showcase games for the absolute quality of Nvidia's PhysX, which still dwarfs many, many, many types of physics in even more modern games, despite having launched 9 years ago. So this is all complete bullshit, and even though this affects me personally in a negative way, I've always been out there championing the fact that none of these companies should have the ability to lock out other people with different hardware. Even when it's, I guess you could say, companies that benefit me, when if it's something like Nvidia, I still don't like the idea that they can lock out other companies from including their other technology, if they were to have them. Again, granted, a lot of the situations in the past, AMD have had no equivalent technology to use, but the point and principle is that it still locks them out no matter what. So essentially, you could have a GPU, let's use my RTX 3090, the big dog, big nuts, top dog, big baller shot caller GPU that you can get, renders everything at native resolution, baby. None of that DLSS crappy low quality upscaling here. But now, I could, potentially, not be able to ray trace Resident Evil 7, a game I paid full price for, at least full PC price, which is still lower than console price. So, should my game cost less because I can't use features because I have a better GPU? AMD stuff doesn't touch Nvidia stuff. Sure, in a couple of examples like a 6700 XT or a 6800 XT, you might get roughly the same type of frame rates with last generation features. You turn on something like ray tracing and whatnot, and that tanks. At least when it comes to AMD, so they're throwing money to lock other people out of it. So, unfortunately, it seems like we're in for another couple of years, if not more, maybe even a whole generation of just absolute shady shit with companies sponsoring games to lock out stuff and lock out people and lock out technology and hardware. And I am 100% against this, no matter who does it, for the simple reason, the whole idea, the whole premise, one of the whole main proper reasons we game on PC is not for the higher quality, but it's for the options, it's for the openness, it's for the freedom. And then you have companies like AMD, yes, even Nvidia, and especially those shitheads at Epic Games, taking all that away from us. Or trying at least. And bringing all that shitty, crappy, underhanded, shady console level business practices so they can all fuck right off.